Penguin Random House Audio presents The Convenience Store by the Sea by Sonoko Machida. Translated by Bruno Navasky. Read for you by Yuriri Naka.
Prologue. Hey, I'm here, over here! No, me! Look at me! A wave of screams washed over me, as if I was standing in the front row at a pop star's concert, and I recoiled automatically. The plastic bottle I was holding slipped from my grasp, but I couldn't move to pick it up. A crowd of women pressed forward, dressed to kill, fluttering like butterflies around a beautiful flower. Wasn't this supposed to be a plain old convenience store? I looked around. As I did, I rewound my mental tape, and I thought back on how I had come to be here. It all started when I got my driving license and brought a second-hand compact car. It was a boxy black microvan. I called it Pippin. Pippin was a pet name I had been holding on to, a special something that I knew I'd call my car once I finally had it. I had been dying for a car of my own and dreaming forever about taking myself for a drive, which you could probably guess from the fact that I had a name for my car ready and waiting. On the first holiday after I bought the car, a perfect sunny day right in the middle of the Golden Week holidays, I left my house in high spirits, ready to make my dreams come true. I decided that for my first drive, I'd go solo. I'd play my own tunes, go where I wanted, free as a bird, without worrying about anyone. I headed out of Kumamoto and promptly decided to hop on the expressway, heading north towards Fukuoka. I thought I'd go shopping in Hakata and then swing by Dazaifu Tenmangu Shrine on the way home. They have fresh plum blossom cakes there, and I could get some. I was happy as a clam and getting close to Hakata when I pulled into the Kiyama parking area for a rest stop. Then, before I knew it, everything changed, and I was ready to explode. I had texted a friend before heading out, and the reply had arrived. So, you're probably going to Hakata, right? Kyushu people all head to Hakata at the drop of a hat. It's such a joke. All I had written was that I was going to have fun driving today, but he was obviously mocking me. If it hadn't been my own phone, I would have smashed it on the ground. You're just jealous because you're still stuck with your learner's permit. I began to tap an angry reply, spattering and cursing, but then I stopped. It was true I had been heading to Hakata, but now it was the last place in the world I could go. He'd make twice as much fun of me. Damn, I shouldn't have been in such a rush to send that text. Now I had to pick a new destination. Groaning, I pored over the map on my phone. As I was searching the map and racking my brain about where to go, my fingertip grazed the location. Mojiko. It was a place I'd heard of. I thought it was a fairly well-known tourist destination, but I'd never been there. It had an area called the Retro District, and the streets were supposed to be lovely. What else? I couldn't remember, but after thinking about it a little, I decided it was my new destination. At times like these, you have to follow your heart. 2 hours later, I was giving my heart a nice round of applause, having arrived in Mojiko without incident. Adorable retro buildings by the glittering sea, the sound of rickshaws rolling by. I heard a lively voice, and as I turned, a man hawking bananas called out to me. The bananas, a perfect bright yellow, shone as if they had absorbed all the sunlight streaming down on them. It's awesome here, I thought. I'd love to take a walk with a boyfriend here someday, if I ever have one. Or maybe even just a lame friend who'd still stuck with his learner's permit. Everywhere I turned, I found something fun, so I just wandered around, totally absorbed. May had barely begun, but it felt like a perfect summer day. I had another local speciality for dinner, baked curry au gratin, and afterwards I felt like having some tea. I noticed a convenience store nearby, so I went in. Whenever I go somewhere new, I can't help thinking what strange places convenience stores are. No matter the town, you just have to step inside and the space transforms into something nostalgic, full of familiar comforts. Even if it was just the same products lined up in the same aisles of the same interior, somehow it gave you a sense of security. My high spirits calming just a little bit, I pulled a plastic bottle of my favorite brand of green tea from the beverage section. I headed towards the register, and there, set out before me, was a sight that I've never seen before at any convenience store. A group of women were crowded around the checkout counter, decked out in such nice clothes that I wondered if they're on their way to a dance. There was a man at the counter, and they all seemed crazy about him. Maybe he was the clerk? He was wearing that kind of uniform, in pastel pink and light brown, so I was pretty sure. But he was so ridiculously attractive, it was hard to believe he was a clerk, and he was radiating what could only be called sex appeal. Were they shooting a movie or something? I had heard Kitakyushu was famous for its great film locations. I looked around, but there was nothing resembling a film crew. The male clerk smiled softly. "Thank you, as always," he said to one customer. "Ah, there's something different about you today, isn't it?" "Oh, Mr. Shiba, you noticed, didn't you? I changed my lipstick." "Yes, of course. You look cuter than ever thanks to those cherry-colored lips, I have to say." "Mr. Shiba, look at me too. I changed my nails today. Look, look! What do you think?" "Oh, Miss Yuko, it's true. They look like jelly beans. Good enough to eat." He smiled sweetly. The clamor echoing through the store was loud enough that I wanted to cover my ears. Were they mobbing a pop star? What had I stumbled into, and why? All I remembered was stepping into a regular convenience store. I was starting to wonder if my mind was playing tricks on me. Miss, I can help you over here." I heard a flat voice and I came to my senses. Was the alien abduction over then? I picked up the plastic bottle, which was lying by my feet, and when I looked up, there was a man at the other register looking my way. It must have been him calling me. He looked around the same age as me, so he was probably a college student, working part-time. I don't want to be rude, but compared to the other man, his face was dull and ordinary. If he were in the TV show, he'd be an extra. In a sort of trance, I stepped up to the register so the clerk, his name tag read Hirose, could ring me up my purchase. But all the while, this wild scene was playing out right next to us. It was insane. I had to know what was going on. I turned to Hirose, who was working his register expressionlessly, and asked in a low voice, Is that a photo shoot or something?" He started to laugh. Then his face got sort of philosophical, as if he had resigned himself to something. "Nope, it's nothing like that. It happens every day here." "Every day?" Hirose gave a small nod, put a paid sticker on the bottle, and handed me my change. Bottle in hand, I took another look at the scene next to us. The women had seemed friendly enough at first, but now the atmosphere had started to turn hostile. The woman with the jelly bean fingernails had held them to the manager's mouth, saying, "Go ahead, taste them." And someone else had told her, sharply, that she was behaving shamelessly. "Please, don't fight. I want to see you all smiling." The man looked troubled, and the women tried to smile. But
Sample complete. Ready to continue?